God. Finally, I got rid of that shit. The bleed. No, you can never do Rewind alone. There's a lot of effort that it has to come together, and you quickly realize with a lot of people, the conversation just bounces around the whole idea of what it's supposed to be about and how it's supposed to play out. It happens quickly. It happens quite fast. People have to pitch in quite a lot to put together something that's worthwhile. I'm not saying my con's not worthwhile. I just found myself a fucking niche. Something to take over. Something to become a YouTube CEO about. That's it. That's the thing. Now I just want to chill in my bed because like it's gonna be cold winter and I don't want to be a friend anymore. You didn't fucking pay for my existence or anything. It's so fucking pathetic, man. It's so pathetic. My dad doesn't like me. I'm not trying to make my dad like me. I'm just trying to find common sense by any means necessary. He feels like he can fucking say something back to me. It's just so easy for him as well. It's not not like I can block him. I'm one of those good people that I'm not blocking anyone. But when you talk to me, the more you talk to me, and in real life you want to fucking meet me in person, right? I'll be like, just pay your check for every message that you had to send to me. Doesn't matter how much I send to you. Don't worry about that. Every message you send to me, however, that's like your ultimate passion. I'm like, I want more. I want to order more. That's your order, basically. This is where we're gonna start. Hi guys. Post-mortem. Whatever. Because I do feel like after this entire project is finished, wrapped up, and the new one is gonna start. That's the idea. Yeah, right now I was celebrating winter. Last year I was celebrating. Okay. Well, I was working for 100 euros, not necessarily dollars, a month through RuneScape. I was warm too. Huh. Now I'm not. Nothing really ever changes, like nobody cares. And it's like, I sit on this and I'm like, do you realize how fucking crazy that is? The sun cares. The sun is the only thing that gives us life. The sun. Imagine if you stopped being the sun. Imagine if I stopped being the sun and stopped making YouTube videos. I'm vibing. People can attach to that idea. I threw enough knives, at least, or whatever you can throw. Enough hints that I'm a person. You can approach me if you're stronger and you're more charismatic, which you had way more time to be. I'm still 25 years old. I'm not mid-range tier. No. But no one had to. No one had to find strength within themselves to approach random people, completely random, for random reasons. Because their random reasons were garbage. Okay? Being unreasonable makes you boring and unwilling to enjoy freedom. You're just unwilling to enjoy. Be random. Approach random strangers for random reasons. Who cares? Don't be a nuisance. You don't have to do that, but drama actually is helpful. But people ignore that because they can't take any more drama. They already filled up their life to the max of how much drama they have in their life. Or that's at least how they feel. And they can't handle a single additional interaction. It's game over. So if I have a job, I'm doing all these things that I have to do. No, you're just boring. You just traded in your freedom, and your time, and everything. Your soul. You traded everything in, and you're hoping for something to spit out. You already have life. Why are you trading in your life? For the promise of tomorrow? I don't need that fucking promise anymore. I already got ripped apart by the factors of shitty life. Life is shitty as it is, you know? It's so much easier to see how shitty life is when you're down. Because then anyone can help you. Anyone can do anything to make your day brighter. Literally anything. That's what you're doing when you're going down on yourself. It's like, well, I don't care. But if anything happens, I'm so empty it will happen to me too. You know, it will bump into me too. It's just so weird. Realizing things like that. I mean, why? The torture will never end. How cute. I hate seeing losers as well. But I do feel like I'm in an island and fishing fish, and that's all I get. I have a fish, and I can stick my dick into a fish mouth, but it's not exactly the most appealing part, but you can still do it. You can still create a skill of any kind. And it's not necessarily a pleasure. Pleasure is a skill. Pleasure is just a body part. It's its own thing. It's almost like when you playing a game, there's also always a bonus level. And it requires a completely different skill set. And you get all the pleasure, all the rewards, all the okay. The feeling of the drugs pouring out of your mouth. I can't take it anymore. That's the feeling that you want to have at some point in your life. Is you're so fulfilled, you don't want some of the parts of life. You're trying to get away from that. Keep your distance, asshole. We're not keeping our distances between each other because life is too good. Oh wait, we are. We just don't know it yet. We don't do principles the way they meant to be done. And I'm like, fuck. That is pain. The most important part is gonna be, well, figuring out what the role of Taylor Swift is, of course. I will relax now. I will drift. into where I want to drift into. There's stuff that I have to rewind for myself of what I've truly done this whole time. It's such a fucking weird concept, but I'm all in on that. You know, rewind, rewind, rewind. Repeat as many times as you can to figure out the definition of that shit. How does it feel like? You can't say it is what it is on this one. You can't. It's not a fucking dance with you. Not from my point of view. You have to invite me first. You have to change my mind. You just have to. And it's not that difficult either. So I'm not asking for much at all. Is that the opening of the door? I know it's difficult part, but like, really, it has to be done correctly. That's what makes it difficult. You gotta do it correctly. You have to do it many times until you master the fucking craft. And you realize what everyone wants, but the people who want something very specific, they have been waiting in line for a long time. So I'm kind of more first, because I've been waiting longer in line. It's a very interesting line, right? Usually lines are somewhere you wait longer than others. It's a very weird concept, but think about it this way. There's a specific place you can wait, and if you wait long enough, it's almost like a Mr. Beast challenge. If you're the longest one to wait it out, spend most time in that position of whatever kind, whatever happens to be a waiting position, because the normal waiting position, you take a ticket, and certain tickets get called in, and you come in when your time is in, right? You don't just wait in line. If you're waiting in line, something in the system is actually broken. The real lines to wait in are just environments where you can do stuff, where you can invest your time. Lines will suck time out of you, but the true line, a true waiting line, is something that you can invest into and get an opportunity out, potentially. But you're still free, pretty much, to do some basic things, which is like interact with people, not be squished in a sandwich. Like, you fucking see the lifelessness of people, the inability to make decisions of people. For me, I had to do it from ground up. The only thing I have is internet. I'm the child of the internet, pretty much, because if you have shitty parents, that's what happens. Yeah, now you can't expect me to do anything in life if internet is my parent. I will expect internet to tell me what to do now. So I will expect internet to give me expectations, and I will fulfill them, because I like it a lot more, and I have plenty of time to be proud of that. That's what happened, and it happened, okay? If it happens, it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. Unless you're actually doing something influential. Then you might change my mind. But if internet is better than my dad and my mom, if one person on the internet is better than those two assholes. Because right now it is. It wouldn't normally make sense. Maybe I don't appreciate them enough. So I'll relax. I'll see. Well, who has influence now that I fucking relax? Allow their stupid influence to pour through. But all I've saw is just seen as just two broken people. Completely worthless to me. And filled with expectations of like, well, there's a living human being. Usually when they live, they get huge salary and a lot of friends and all that shit. They become successful and they do a lot of things in life. Usually, right? Especially if you ignore yourself. How broken you are. And that you had a child to begin with. When you can't afford one. Like, it's just so fucking delusional. And it's like, you have to set an example that I couldn't set. I fucking hate this, man. And I'll have to have this conversation with the delusional person that will never stop cranking up the bill, of respect. I have to keep repeating, oh, I'm losing respect for you. You still want to continue this conversation? Because you know you're not respecting me by any means. It's so difficult to fucking understand what a person is thinking. Well, they're thinking a very simple thing. It's free. I can do whatever I want. I'll get away with it. Yeah, where's police for that shit? But everything it becomes an establishment and the technology moves forward. And I say it's like it's gonna replace the government. And it will. Eventually. Eventually we're good enough to not be monitored 24/7 for whatever drama we create. Because in the end, like, government only looks for drama either. Anything that they would identify as drama. They have their own definitions. I don't even care. So yeah, I'll just try and relax. Define what the next year is about. Because it's a lot. It just is a lot. My brain was constantly pushing aside of like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing this and I'm definitely doing that. There's so much. So I have to let that come back to me. I'm so anxious to actually start new things, right? Like, it's a big deal. So for me, YouTube Rewind was more of a clog in the system and less than an actual achievement of something. While I was making it, right? It wasn't the project. So it feels bad the whole way through. And it's not like I was fully prepared for it as well. I wasn't aware of what I wanted to do. It usually fails like that. Most big projects fail like that. It's like, well, I'm getting closer and closer and closer, and it flops. You must not allow things flop like that. I think it's a mistake. And it's another healthy mistake. And you have to make mistakes fast. You gotta plow through the field of mistakes. I've said it, man. The only thing YouTube can offer you is you can make mistakes for them, basically. Because we have no clue what we're doing. None of us do. And now that I've seen the landscape, the ecosystem, they literally offer you to make mistakes, but you kind of have to like put effort in that, like, is worth something to look at. It kind of tells its own story. It's a question mark, I would say, How much minimum effort you have to put to let people know about your mistakes. It's a very interesting what min so yeah, I think that's a very interesting position, right? YouTube still as a first generation platform, or the first tier 1 first generation. It is what it is. It's a young thing that will grow up to be something else potentially. But right now, we're in the field of doing random things and making as many mistakes as possible. And we don't look at it as mistakes. We'll look at it as quirks. As something fresh and new. It's not a mistake. It's a mistake if you have tried to do something and you failed. But no one should be trying to do something in years. You see, you can see how the effort sort of cools down very quickly. Yeah. Stop trying to do something and just do what you like. There's an ultimate mistake, basically, which is like, you're not actually a part of this, you know? You're trying too hard, and no one wants a person like that around, ever. Trying too hard. Just give up, you know, if you're trying too hard. If it's too hard for you, it's not good. But it's fine to try while your effort is completely low, while you're just putting quarters in and you want to see what happens. If you're not outspending yourself and burning yourself out, like, no one needs that. All you need to do is play with the idea of what YouTube is. Just play it. And you have to play very well. Back in the day, we used to play games. We're not playing games anymore. The games are not meant to be played anymore. Games are second generation. They're different. Games will suck your time out if you play them. Back in the day, they were flashy and straight to the point. You could understand what it is about. And they wouldn't suck your time because they would kind of get repetitive and boring. You had to have reasons to play the game. Now that the second generation is in, if you find enough reasons, you will still be able to play the game and enjoy it quite a bit, even more so. It's just, still wonderful deal, but it takes a lot more to master. It takes mindfulness. It takes discipline now. You can't just play it, but you can in fact play YouTube. Okay? It is something you can play. It is a reason why this whole thing is the most popular. It is what it is. It just speaks for itself. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, more solid, more difficult to crack. You can't just play it. You have to work. Gaming is now more about work than just chilling and playing. And it's complicated. I have nothing. I've worked so long on my projects, and I'm still barely scratching the surface here. But I know so deeply that when I come back, I'm like relaxing myself. Oh, I'm YouTube CEO, absolutely, no doubt, because I know exactly what it requires you to do. I know every single move here. that you can make. And you can make the bad moves, the non-playful moves that make me question, like, oh, what's going on here? This is so annoying. It is tough. I think now games kind of guarantee that you can play them, but it's no longer the interesting part. That's another thing. Which is why YouTube can guarantee that you will understand that you have to play it to get on this level. You can understand that TikTok is like a playground, pretty much. But why is that? I don't think you can even understand that. It's not like everyone wants to play there as well. No, it has to be popular enough. It's actually quite a trick as well, of its own. Yeah, but why settle down for something shittier? Oh, because it promotes you? TikTok promotes you? Is this better YouTube? Is TikTok gonna overtake YouTube? Could it be possible? It is possible, I think. Most definitely possible. But never really bet on anything, just wait for something to happen. That normally happens, right? And once your brain is in a settling down position, you always invest in yourself. It's the best thing to do. You always invest in yourself. You're always winning in the end. You always care for the right things in the end. You know what led you to do things. I wouldn't have discovered Minecraft so early if I didn't knew what was going on, basically. It's not like everything I touch become gold, but it kind of does, right? Like, your experience is completely irreplaceable. And you have to kind of stand up for it. And YouTube is just the best place. There's no way for me to express, no other way to express myself. It's me. And I'm glad. And if you want to see my face, or you think I have a Hearthstone channel, you have no idea what you're messing with. Absolutely no idea. You can skip, you can go next, next channel. We need to look at TikTok more of as an example, just like there's a lot of little niches to understand. But it's your playground. TikTok initiates your ability to play, and then you understand what YouTube stands for. I think that's a good way to fucking look at it. TikTok is just as random of an algorithm as YouTube. No big deal. And YouTube also can feel the same way, like a shadow ban to some people. Sure. But no one understands algorithms, so why should we try? We should just embrace the fact that we got shadow banned or something. We can talk about it. We can make our moves to fix things and establish our ideas and improve if possible. Never just settle down on one solution of like, oh, that's a problem way bigger than I am. We just have to wait. Maybe that's true, but spreading like actually good awareness, which I still haven't bumped into. It's so difficult to bump into. Valid information. Well thought out information. It's never gonna happen. I'm too smart for this shit. And it's not like I feel good about it. Crossing the finish line first feels lame. when I haven't even tried. Well, that's not how you do it. That's just something I can't expect from other people. Have to play it. Have to almost like forget about this problem in that sense. It's like, but then the bigger problem is like there's not enough people playing. That's the bigger problem. I don't care how YouTube works. It works. Please play with me. So many people were compelled to make Facebook profiles. What about YouTube though? Isn't that better? Isn't that so much better? Why are you not compelled? I don't understand that part. It blows my mind, honestly. You can quickly present yourself. If you wanted to present yourself properly, this is the best place. There's no other way. Why would you fucking Facebook profile yourself? Facebook is dying. It's so much harder for me to use every single day. It's getting more and more obscured by everything else. If I wanted to see your profile, I'll just look into Instagram, rather, you know, and think about what just happened. You know, we cutting off the tails that we don't quite need. If we were just looking at your pictures, go to Instagram. It's very undefined. How do you do it? Yes, not everyone is gonna know how to make YouTube videos, and that's one big breaking point that has to be fucking fixed by any means. There has to be some, more entry points like that put in place, and it's our responsibility to make apps that makes videos. It's our responsibility, not YouTube's. So it's kind of crazy. It's not my responsibility though. I'm not gonna fucking do it. It's too much money if I do it. Because I do things okay. I do things okay. And okay is good enough for me to take a bag and leave. And never return, never talk about myself ever again. It's almost like a death sentence. Imagine that. Would kill me. I will no longer exist in social environments anymore. I would exist in the heaven where you have a pool and you have bikini bodies everywhere. That's it. Just bikini bodies and a pool. Whenever I feel like it, I just jump in the water and I play with whatever I want. Easy life. That's how it would feel like. It's like I'm too rich. I don't have to care about real life problems. Are you kidding me? I already solved them. So I understand that entry points are important. I like talking. Like talking is not going to get me in trouble by any means. I'm not going to be super ultimately popular because of that. But now I'm like, I'll try singing. These guys can't quite hear me. Maybe I'll try singing now. I'm getting scared because, like, maybe there's more effort I need to do than talking. Because talking gives me zero feedback. So, like, we have to figure that out for sure. That's one of the big questions for me. Very big question. Do I do singing because talking is a flop? And I'm not talking about poking people and asking for things. That seems to work fine. But it also feels very depressing because, like, I get nothing in return anyways. I'm almost poking dead bodies. That's what happens. So it's either or. It would be just as this big of a quest for me to poke some dead bodies, but honestly, maybe I just need to fill them up with hope, an easy message to crunch into, and just fill them up with that. Because the greatest thing about, making music is you kind of create your own factory by doing it, your own business. They will repeat it themselves. Those people, those idiots, they will click repeat on your music over and over again, even accidentally. They will stumble and fall just to listen to your music more. So it does spread like wildfire quite a bit. It does half of the job that I would normally do. It's just, I have to rephrase it over and over again. No, they will rephrase it for themselves. So singing might actually be a more efficient way to talk, just for the time being, because I've recognized that as well. Where, like, I would rather have the music play, and I tune into that. But now I'm, like, kind of weighing two things together. I'm not sure anymore. Literally the last thing I did on YouTube Rewind is nerf, or buff rather, the power up. So if I click for long enough, it actually counts as one power up. And that happens when I click 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That'd take a while to get to the power up now. Now it's like decent. But if you're listening to music, you're clicking all the time, and it becomes its own power up. So, like, what's the point? If music has its own power up, it's always gonna beat everyone. Especially if their power up is better than the actual power up. The power up is the feeling that you grab and you truly feel that feeling. You're not just bouncing up and down to the music, to the rhythm, because your body just got itself stuck. You don't want that to happen. You want to truly appreciate things. So having a perfectly balanced system, any step I can take to make it more balanced, it's a big deal. Very big deal. It used to be almost like I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That. So I added 10 more steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes so much longer. But you can still sit here and click enough to where it becomes a power-up. You don't have to think about it, and that's the beauty of music. You don't have to think about it too much. You just have to open up yourself and your body starts bopping. Anyways. Life is cool. I need listeners though. I need decently active listeners that actually, are respectful too. I know life is very disrespectful to a lot of people, and then those disrespectful people are looking for anything to disrespect. And in a way, we're all almost like fully satisfied. We're almost like all of us are rich enough, and the best we can do is just world wars, apparently. We're just rich enough to just not give a fuck anymore. And even those world wars are tiny now. They're fucking tiny, I would say. I don't even know why we remember that shit. Why it matters. pretty sure there are bigger problems again. Just like coronavirus, it's an equivalent to war, but then it's just still a tiny fucking war that affects only old people. Yeah, cool. Can be said about wars, most definitely. Only old people give a fuck about this shit. Young people will grow up and be like, what's that? Oh, I don't give a fuck about wars. Unless people repeat it 20 million times, which they will, but only because, it's old people. Old people, or you will learn at schools, or you will learn at boring YouTube videos, because you forgot how to play. I have to pinch myself. No, punch myself, rather. Yeah. Forever doing that. Forever listening to science. Or anything that's boring. Like, fuck me. It's the stupidest thing you can do. You think you're doing something smart, but that's the trick, right? Science is about forcing smart and forgetting to have fun. Just forget about it. Yeah, there's fun science, right? Wrong. For some reason, it's actually wrong. There's no fun science, because science actually takes away your point of view and fills it up with scientific point of view. Just like politics has its own political correctness thing going on. Which is like, you have to actually invest your point of view to be able to hold political correctness. That's the whole trick. Neither politics nor science actually matters in your life. And if it matters, it can stand on its own and be fun. And not be distractive and destructive at the same time. How fucking stupid that is. And I've wasted a lot of time. But it's fine. Now I understand what it is. The biggest waste of time is just being born. Luckily, we can unborn ourselves. It takes time, though, you know? There's so much abuse that drills into your head. The biggest abuse, of course, is being poor and not being able to make your own decisions. To be reliant on your parents, and your parents are like, oh, you're such a loser. Well, you're a loser too. I'm no different than my parents. Jeez. What the fuck, man? Never tested influence on me. Never learned what that means. So, of course, it's so lame, right? It's so fucking lame. There's one thing that I'm gonna be doing next year. Inventing cards. I'll do a checklist so we can do it like that. Positive or negative traits. So I can see a person as musical, right? That's a huge trait that's a little bit too easy to identify. So you wouldn't take that, but maybe I would need it at some point. You know, maybe I get a reading of someone. Because you can read, like, what is it? I have some influence. Okay, read G. I think I just have X. Yeah, I've filled myself with porn, and that's it. That's my identity. But you can imagine me having traits fuel me. And we collectively fuel traits back. So, there's a pool under of a whole holistic understanding of what a trait is. What it means to be musical. What it means to be kind. What it means to be beautiful. You know, let's feed into that fucking pool. I want to know. I want to truly know what that means. It sounds fucking awesome. And also negative traits. what it means to be lazy, what it means to be just creating definitions. Just wow. I think it's a wonderful thing to do next year, by any means. So that's a big one. That's a really big one. I'm just saying it like, oh, it's just one thing that I'm gonna be doing here. That is a big one. Because if I understand those definitions better, they redefine a lot of who these people are and what their true scores are as well. These things get redefined quite a bit. But there's more to it. There's so much that gets defined. This game is getting more and more complicated. I'm afraid, like, if I'll be able to port it to a better looking thing, because right now just using Unity editor is my thing. It still gets laggy eventually. I'm still not fully comfortable either, because of how it looks and how I can't not manipulate that it covers the entire screen and it looks beautiful, right? And the buttons are big and everything is functional, or has multi-function, so I can click a button and it does what I want. Like there's a lot that I can improve upon. I just need an engine, obviously, that's in my list. And it's working. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with my engine so far. That's very good. It's Monday. Alright, so I'll take a break. I just wanted to sit here and be happy that I finished my big deal. I imagine I have finished processing, maybe? Still pending? Yeah, I guess it is pending. Alright. We'll see. Timeworks is doing his goddamn rewind and released it on December 5th, which is maybe more appropriate than when I released mine. Let's see how influential this truly is, and obviously this looks like fucking garbage. Obviously. But that's fine. It's time, my dudes. It's time to get premium membership. It gives me a bonus like 50 days or something if I do this. So, let's go, boys. Let's see what I get as a bonus. Reward token. And premier artifacts. Look at that. Offers selection of benefits including a 10% buff and free aura reset once per day. Whatever that means. On both of my accounts, this costs a lot. $29 for each bond twice. I used one bill, or 116. No, this is actually full cost. So now, RuneScape trade is actually negative. I'm starting from minus instead. Because every single mill stacks here as well. Let's redeem our bond as well. If this is only for the next year, right? And not just 12 months. I want to double check right now. 2021, guys. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. This is amazing. This is absolutely unstoppable shit. We're gonna be membering for a year now. We're committed. There's no turning back. This is amazing. I can activate something? Look at that. Gain for an hour. And this is probably an aura or something. 50% chance to act as a sign of porter for an hour. Okay, allows you to refresh the cooldown of an aura. What? What the fuck are you... Why? Why do you have to have so much text? They can't learn anything from fucking card games. Jesus Christ. Let's try and activate this. Let's see what happens. You have activated hour. To porter items. Holy shit! That is mad! That is fucking madness. That means I can go teleport to anywhere, really. But I want to test it out on just some ores, some basic shit. Wow. No, I had to give myself the wow. Even though it cost me fucking fortune. $60 or something for this shit. What? It's not putting it in. I don't know, man. I don't know. Thought I activated Sign of Porter, dude. Who knows? Oh, maybe what it does, it is 50% chance the whole way through, not just like to activate it. So sometimes, I think I saw an animation. This is so slow in here. This is so fucking dumb. Now that the cost is so low, it's probably better to just do the sapphire mining. Who knows? I'm not seeing it. Oh, I do see it. I did saw it, okay. So it's potentially useful. This looks fucking awesome. Holy shit. What else can we activate? We can activate 10% experience. We can refresh some kind of aura. Increases hit chances. Okay, that's cool. Below 15% health. Slayer count decreasing. Oh my god, how stupid that is. So yeah. I think this is like the most useful one once I figure out how to use it. The ultimate porter. That's about it. Kinda have to activate, don't I? We have weapons and all that shit. Miscellaneous? Maybe I should ask Google what I should do with this thing, because I don't want to waste it. I can get a lightning staff. I probably cannot get it naturally, can I? Damn, I don't have space to check. Lightning staff. I have a mystic air staff, which is level 40. I can get a level 60 staff. It still sucks if it's just level 60, okay? And it breaks down air runes, which is awesome. That's what I use this for. It's an air staff. So this can barely give me a 20-point upgrade. I think I would still take it. There's nothing better that, you know. An item is an item after all. So let's grab that staff, boys. There's no more. Yes, yes, please. Unlocked. What the fuck does that mean? Oh my god. 1 second. This guy literally just took PewDiePie's format and ran away with it. Okay. PewDiePie can have his own fucking fanboys and fat girls. Yeah, we got a cesspool of rewinds now. Twitch rewind. What do you mean, SD? Yeah, it's absolute garbage, isn't it? I don't feel so bad about my rewind, actually. If this is only memes. Oh, look. I've seen this title before. Does this guy have stolen literally everything? Literally everything. And it's like, well, stealing is my fucking specialty, so YouTube 2020 rewind? Easy. Easy peasy, guys. Let's shove in 2 more cartridges of this shit. The best part is that all rewinds are failures. It's so simple too. Including mine, of course. But I failed with a different style of rewind. Not just fucking, let's smash a bunch of memes because PewDiePie did it. And it opened up the way rewind is supposed to be done. It's a fucking Indiana Jones trick. Everyone is like, oh look, there's something valuable that Indiana Jones left. No one leaves valuable things. Who the fuck are you? You think you are, man? You think you understand this stuff? It's fucking ridiculous. No one really understands this shit. Now let's open up this can of worms and ask ourselves why YouTube Rewind made out of memes is a bad idea. Also, I want to see if I'm not cancelled. I renamed it. So it has to pop up. I saw it pop up if I type YouTube Rewind and shit. No, it's still not popping up. Renaming your videos doesn't work anymore, apparently. You have to have the correct name from the very beginning. People not gonna type YouTube Rewind like this. Which, what I did. And I fucked everything up. I'm right here. And nobody's gonna see it. Because I fucked it up. Maybe it's gonna change over time. Maybe they're double checking the name. I don't know. Because I renamed it right now. It's a mess. You never know what you're gonna get. TikTok is a little bit better, but it should be even better. You know, some people should sign up to be TikTok hotspots, and they watch pretty much more new videos. You should be able to adjust how many new videos you watch. Like, it's so important to give a kickstart to people who deserve it. And work as a reviewer, as a trusted reviewer as well. Like, it would almost be like Bitcoin mining, of just finding viral videos before they go viral. It's ridiculous, Bitcoin mining. Like, Jesus Christ, you would want to share that stuff with, share your fame with the person that fucking discovered you in the first place. Or the community that discovered you. Like, whoever takes the credit. That's pretty cool, right? Concept. TikTok reinvented Bitcoin mining. Which, for me, it's a 3-dot thing. I'm like, yeah, it's not actually happening. And Bitcoin should have been reinvented very, very quickly, but no one will care about this for a few years at least. Life is actually really complicated. Oh my god. Because it's made out of these little parts, of little contributions from everywhere. And if people go into that maze of contributions and just create meme videos, you're completely lost. You're completely evaporated in the world of just, you know, peak interests. If you put together peak interest, you get something new, but it's not necessarily telling a story. When PewDiePie jumped in and created the YouTube Rewind, it at least like gave an interesting introduction, but it never really followed up with anything. It doesn't have a coherent story. I think YouTube Rewind is actually better than what PewDiePie released, because it highlights so many YouTubers, and I have so much more work because of that. When I look into the memes, I'm like, oh, that's it. I guess I experienced a portion of it. It doesn't push you on the spot of like, you have to know these people, you have to understand what's going on. Because that's the challenge. You watch a YouTube Rewind, and the challenge is, how many faces can you recognize? That's the fucking challenge. I at least have that too in my rewinds. You know, I added my faces. And my challenge is actually even greater. I have to put the faces that you would recognize for sure. There's no fucking doubt. And you wouldn't be able to run away from it without a question of like, yeah, I probably should watch their videos or check their channel. If I did a portion of that work, again, I made a much more successful video than even PewDiePie himself. And in a way, like, yeah, that's what has to be contested. That's what has to be discussed. Like, I'm just one person who wants something, so I put out what I want. I didn't even fucking try to edit my videos. I didn't try to fucking put together anything too substantial, but I did put a lot of work of how much I wanted. Okay, I put truly the 8 hours of just, I really want people to fucking know certain things right now. Because it really hurts. But it will keep going, because now this is almost like my career of just, oh, this is what I want, guys. You don't understand. I'm a reasonable person. I'm not just reactive person. I'm not just a chemical reaction on your computer screen. That's fucking stupid. So, we have an answer. YouTube Rewind has to have them faces. It's literally the answer of like, oh, it's me. Astonished. That's me. Point a finger at yourself. The left is so down there. That is me. I am the face. Or it's a finger gun, who cares? So yeah, it is a bad idea to look at the year from a, chill perspective. That's fucking stupid. At the entire year, as if everyone had the same experience, as if everyone had been satisfied this whole time with YouTube, and all they have to do is sit back and just laugh it off. Nothing happened. It's a special event. End of the year, this thingy is a special event. You can chill any other time, but not this time. This time you have to fucking meet the people who made YouTube a brighter place, even just a little bit. You have to meet those people. You have to find them. I'm not necessarily on a fucking pedestal showing how it's done, but to 50% of that's true, and 50% of that I'm not secure about that at all, because there's so much more work that can be done. So I'm like, of course I will not care. I will keep moving forward until people will realize that it's too late to actually jump on board, and just they will just have to kind of worship me like an idol, like everyone else. But not because I have too many subscribers, but because I have done too much work in the shadows, which is even worse. It's even worse if you don't even know the person anymore. They just pop out of nowhere. It's not necessarily a Mr. Beast move or someone else's who just did random things. I would still think like Mr. Beast did some random shit. We looked at his channel and it's like filled with how much people earn or something. And then Call of Duty footage. This is old school garbage, I would say. Being interested in people's income and then playing a shitty game. That's old school. And it's not particularly shitty, it's a good footage, and it's good content to think about, of like, yeah, these people are out there, we need to get to know them. If you look to the bright side, it's not too bad, but to have Mr. Beast come out of this shithole, I would say, that's fascinating. That is fascinating. And everyone kind of come out of that shell, because they're all teenagers and weirdos in that sense. But Mr. Beast is also super young, too. The reason why he was able to come out early, I think, is because of his friends. His friends really take the leverage of his immaturity, let's put it this way. It really helps. Even though you would think like their friends act like immature, but I'm pretty sure everyone pitch in certain ideas to some degree and help out in general, right? Like, it's really hard to spend money, guys. So, I wouldn't want to know more about the entire operation background and all that shit behind the scenes. But that's just me. Anyways, after long last, I'm gonna have a wonderful break. Starting off with, like RuneScape 1 year premium thing. You just buy it up. It's 1 year. And you're gonna be stuck with that. It's wonderful. And then I can just watch videos normally as I would. Whoever uploads and shit. What the fuck? I'm gonna reset everything as well. It's so important for me to pick up this new idea and run with it, right? The card invention and how it's gonna work, and I want to start tying together a story that Taylor Swift can pick up and then wrap up the story, because now Now we're actually supposed to wrap up this little segment here, and maybe we can go through this thing. This is a very, very random and weird thing, but I can reshape it. Maybe reliving story 2019, it's gonna help me figure out what 2020 is about. Because there's a lot that has been flowing in here. The very beginning of this whole thing, I want to relax and just kind of rewind my own experience now. I think that's not at the beginning, actually. It's hard to tell. Yeah, that's the beginning. Alright. Still had lava on my team when it first started. But Taylor Swift was fucking around here. She was the bad guy. And kept trying. And successfully kept trying. You know, you have to keep being around if you have any chance to succeed in something. You have to just circle around until you're invited. And you might actually win. So, I'm gonna just read through all of this stuff. This was done in the very end of 2019. I was like, oh shit, there has to be like a storyline that happened, right? Because it did happen. I was in UK for 2 months. Then I go to my home and I'm celebrating my birthday, but I'm going fucking nuts because my mom is so fucking terrible. After all these years that I've left her alone, she was talking to herself non-stop. Now everything is fine. Everything is fine since, you know, early this year. Maybe halfway this year, everything's starting to fix itself. It wasn't quite fine though. And I still feel like I got into a lot of trouble. I don't know how it's resolving. I don't know, who cares. But it's so stupid. It makes things so stupid. I'm also gonna change what I'm doing here. I don't even know how to do that yet. Haven't done that at all. This is the best, man. Reacting to 2020, man. You just sit on. Ah, it's a piece of paper now. How do you degrade so fast? Well, it's not just a piece of paper, kid. You have to unpackage, you know? There's a whole fucking package. Thank you for making a difference. Holy shit. I make a difference. I'm so special now. But what if I made a difference? That I made something different than what's supposed to be done. I don't know if I like it. Thank you. We will not release a video this year. Because you're so different. No one will like us anyways. Since 2010, we have ended the year with Rewind. A look back at the year's most impactful creators, videos, and not memes. Not memes, guys. They fucking did it correctly. Whether you love it or you punched us in the face, Rewind was always meant to be a celebration of YouTube. I think they made a typo here. Of you? I don't know, man. I think you lost your T-series somewhere. But 2020 has been different, and it doesn't feel quite right to carry a 2020 on our shoulders, because there's a lot of editing, guys. And a lot of fucking masks that we have to wear this year. Wear your mask. Mask. So we're taking a break. You didn't take a break. You're just not gonna do it. You're not taking a break. Oh, you're probably not even gonna come back. Who knows, right? It's just a little eventy. I don't know how to do 2020 rewind. That's what it says. Most of us don't know what to do, so it's like, well, we're just not gonna do it this year. So just fucking say it as it is. No one fucking knows how to say it as it is. Ever. People lost that ability a long time ago. We know that so much of the good that did happen was created by all of you. Because we sit on YouTube, everyone. So we oversit on YouTube, and YouTube is like super blushy, flushy, you know. Oh no, what do I do? Everyone's looking at me. Wah. You found ways to lift people up, help them cope, and make them laugh. Which is, all of them are useless, okay? All of these fucking things are useless. Lift people up? Right now you don't want to be lifted up, okay? Stay home. Fuck off, man. The police is gonna be like, who's that guy? He's not staying home, he's lifted up. Get him out of here. No one wants to be lifted up anymore. Help them cope. With what? There's no problems when you stay indoors, you know, like, with what? Loneliness? Oh, yes, I forgot about that. No, it makes sense. It makes total sense, guys. YouTube is not helpful, though. Unless you make a Discord channel and you give lollipops to children. Maybe that fucking works. And making people laugh, it's not gonna help at all. Because coronavirus has a specific personality of water. So making them laugh, it's gonna make it worse. I can't breathe. I can only laugh, guys. What are we doing? Laughter is now very expensive, so keep yourself in touch. You laugh, you might actually lose a lot of oxygen right now. Don't do it. You made a hard year genuinely better. Who? Just name some creators who did it. Because I don't know. Just, you have a sheet of paper, you have a second part of the sheet of paper. Who are you thanking to? Please let us know, guys. What's your coordinates? Do you have a coordinate system? Do you have fucking a system of anything? They don't. They're now gonna hide under the bush because, like, oh shit, now every country wants a piece of YouTube Rewind. Everyone wants it. You know? Every single fucking lunatic wants it. And people kind of can quickly forget about 2019. They can forget about it if they want something. I want the thing that not 2018 and not 2017. I want that sweet spot, you know. Nah. No. And then all YouTube authorities just gonna go run. Right. I'm promoting this guy to be, you know, a YouTube partner. That's pretty good. He has 131 subscribers. Get me to 169. Oh no, you got banned. You just lost YouTube partnership with that meme. I'm sorry, guys. These children are very unstable creatures. Very scary. You never know which meme's gonna succeed and which memes are gonna fail. In their hands, you know. A bunch of Lego pieces, they can crumble and come together at any point. You never know. Children make up a lot of random shit. So yeah, I'm looking around, guys. Not finding good stuff here yet. Potentially I have to just sit here, you know, and suck in every day. Do a daily thing. YouTube Rewind 2020 roast. Let's see how this kid roasts YouTube. It's the best content ever, though. I probably don't even have to fucking censor this guy. Yes, I do have to censor this guy because he doesn't fucking speak English. Next. Was released. Wow. By who? PewDiePie versus CoComelon now. What's up, PewDiePie? CoComelon is hitting 100 mil very soon. That's pretty epic. Potentially. Please. PewDiePie has to release his stupid video already. Also, why anyone voted for CoComelon? Are people just naturally insane? Are people just tired of PewDiePie and now loves the trend of him losing? But all I see here is PewDiePie, so where's CoComelon garbage votes? You know, where's this? Well, there's one guy spamming all of this shit. Everyone is just... No. And when you take away the spam, there's not much left, actually. There's one Russian guy and there's one fucking loser. SL God. Spamming. Lame. Lame things are happening in the world. All the time. Because people think they can do something. But the best thing you can do is cast Stupefy spell on yourself. And become more stupid. That's what you can do. Because if I feel too smart being silent and being alone and spending all this time by myself, not expressing myself, let me stupefy and randomize some bullshit in the chat or in the nearest chat. Let's put it this way, in the nearest expression box. I do it too. I kind of stupefy myself every time I'm making this video. But I'm still spending time with myself. I haven't actually expressed myself yet. You know, someone has to find my video and actually say, I've watched it. I have not received this sort of appraisal of like, I watched your video. You don't have to even like it. You're just like, I watched it. It's the greatest fucking trope of all time. If you check my channel, you quickly realize just watching one video right now, currently this year's video, is a challenge. Okay? It's a terrifying challenge. So if you can find yourself doing that, congratulations. I have expressed myself once in my lifetime. I couldn't do it this year. Maybe next year, you know? So I'm not stupefied yet by what's going on. But when you put it on the public chat and you start spamming, that means that you're hooked on something. You're getting fucking drug dosed. Alright. That's fun. The most important part is none of these things are free anymore. You can't just show things anymore. It's all copyrighted. I'm sorry. This guy thought he can sneak in Ariana Grande in there. Let's see how that works. Because it just doesn't work for me anymore. I'm like, I don't know how copyright system works anymore, so everything's copyrighted. It's wonderful. Yeah, sure. Whatever. It is what it is. It's an attempt. And everyone's doing their own thing. To some degree. I care a lot. And personally I care about a lot more than most other people. I just can't put the work to it because the work is slavery. I don't need that skill of editing. What I need is the skill to enjoy doing something and actually learning the real skills. Like, god damn it. just sitting here and enjoying talking, that's a skill. There's so many better things to do. And I'm always disappointed in human beings anyway, so finding friends is actually would be a cringe fest rather than actually enjoying a relationship. So you would think like I would want fame like a normal fucking human being, and that's not the case, and that's not exactly achievable as well. Fame is one of those special tropes that people get, but they don't know what to do with it because it denormalizes them. But if they do learn how to cope with fame, it's usually about giving fame up to replace it with normal things, right? And then you can truly see a full life cycle of a star. The star never really fades out, it gives a lifeline to everyone else who needs to know the story, the full context of who you need to be. And if you get sucked in looking for like whatever's going on, whatever trend is going on, whatever should be happening, it's just whatever I should be doing, that's just gonna distract me. If I have an opportunity to interact with people now, that's a big opportunity. But that's not happening right now. Until YouTube becomes an interactive platform and that shit explodes into insanity, and it's never gonna become interactive a platform. What's probably gonna happen is YouTube gonna give way to interactive platforms. Okay, that's what I've been predicting, and I keep holding on to this thing because the interactive platforms right now, they feed into YouTube, but essentially they're gonna turn it into its own thing when there's way too much going on, right? Way too much, and they're way too strong to just build up YouTube. But there's also another question mark of like YouTube probably can adopt a few things for itself as well to lift itself up from the ground, because that's what makes things grounded. If you just you're stuck feeding off other places, other editing software or whatever, like that sort of stuff has to be figured out by now, and it isn't. Making videos is not exactly an easy thing. I actually lift YouTube up from the ground by making videos that are easy to make, but they're not watchable. But I'm keep on saying like, please make this stuff and be satisfied, because you might just want to feel how it truly is when you do it, when you lift the effort off, or just make a random shitty channel for yourself and see how that goes, right? People might not watch it anymore, and people might not flock into your extra channel at all, and they might not care. But what if I care? What if a special person in your life cares, and they lift you up, and all of a sudden you're creating a hidden group behind the scenes of YouTube, a hidden group where people are actually fucking friendly and interactive, in a way that YouTube allows it, not in a way that everyone wants interactivity and everyone wants to bounce their fucking balls around the internet. It's kind of like the true core of the internet will be invented, essentially. That's kind of interesting. So, potentially what's going to happen with YouTube right now is someone is going to invent interactive system of some kind for themselves. Someone will figure out how to establish better and better Discord potential, where you have your channel, people flock in this, people play around. For me, I'm playing with myself, so I'm kind of being self-interactive, and it still makes me a strong YouTuber, because you still have to have that platform now, or understanding be questioning this, then you're a very strong YouTuber. It's kind of what immediately changes my perspective of Onision, just because I cared enough to click on that Discord channel and I found it. I cared enough. I wanted to see if weird shit is happening in there, because Onision is weird, as I was expecting, and I pretty much got what I expected, maybe even more so. I mean, my expectations are null when it comes to what can I get from interactions. So I got myself quite an interesting experience. Not sure where it leads to. Not sure what is gonna happen in the end. Whew. If it has a result, if I do get more people interacting in my Discord as well, because that's the result usually that's supposed to happen. You enter an interactive system and people figure out like, oh, you're kind of an interactive person, so they have to like flock into your hub and feed your YouTube presence, pretty much, and self-esteem and all that shit. And because everything is pretty much prepared, I just want to. I'm a perfectionist, so I take things slowly, but I pretty much, you know, put the cloud of dreams straight up. I don't hesitate to do that. And I try to expand it as much as possible as well. And it's almost like its own process, because it's a passion of cloud. Cloud passion. Cloud of passion. Why did I miss like 2 times already? Well, yeah, you do this thing and you start bubbling things up and pinning points, which are, it's almost like a star formation, right? Creating a network of things, of little places where different things are happening, and I still have to figure those out. It's a lot easier potentially once I have cards. Then it's a little bit easier, and by cards I mean, okay, yeah, I'll probably just have to revisit the entire 2020 story, 2019. I shouldn't try and make big points anymore. Just do the work. And see what I can find in this cloud of passion that I called it. Yeah, that's important. Think about it this way too. I have my system, right? And PewDiePie just kind of reduxed how much work you need for YouTube Rewind, and everyone is going to be like, oh, that's the format that I have to do. Nah. Give me a fucking break. Any format works. PewDiePie didn't just, you know, steal that format from anyone else. He came up with that. And even he didn't came up with that. His buddies put it together. He didn't put anything together. He just needed to be a figure. But apparently that's the thing. That's a thing now. We'll see. I don't want Timeworks to steal the spotlight, though. PewDiePie needs to... or needed to. He knows, man. Like, December 6th is rewind time. You're late. You better not be too late, asshole. Where did you go, Nerd City? Did Lily Pons just annihilated you? Well, what happened? It's so lame. Someone does decent content and is like, oh, not this year. Actually, he just did it 3 times last year. 1 time this year, but it almost doesn't count, so 4 times last year, and then double as much the year before. Nerd City's not worth subscribing, guys. Forget about that. Why did they recommend their video? UK YouTubers versus... I think it's gonna be very complicated Trying to understand tier 2. I mean, it's... Life in tier 1 is super simple. And I'm kind of like, put a closing chapter in there. But actually opening up to tier 2 and all the crazy problems that I have to solve, the moment I feel that no one's attacking me, tier 2 attacks me immediately. Because if there's no threat, if there's nothing to talk about, the threat is imminent. My brain everything deteriorates. Because everything was built on pressure. That was the whole fucking point. And not making these videos and actually even understanding like what goes beyond YouTube, what kind of pressure you have to put on yourself, because now you have to put some kind of pressure automatically, crafted pressure. So potentially that's its own problem, and we have to start marking it down. Right. Put pressure on yourself. This is the scariest thing, because like, I want to think about it, but sometimes you can't allow yourself to think about it. So it's double question mark. You have to think about thinking as well. That's enough pressure. If you feel pressure, that's good enough. If you want to go down the question rabbit hole, you have to end at some point. That's the scary part too. And you just keep bouncing at scary things. It's pressure, but usually it comes from below. It comes from below because it gives you the point of view that's not yours. It gives you non-separation, which is like school work. You're always surrounded by people. For a long time, that's where people get stuck in college. Until they really hit that sweet spot of 25 years old, most people get out of problematic principles in their lives that create all this pressure. They are surrounded by people that they want to appeal to, so they suck in bad emotions with them. They're trying to be nice, which also sugarcoats bad emotions. It gets so deep. But you can just call it candy, basically. But it's poison candy, because it's a trick. You know, it's a trick emotion. It's like, well, I'm trying to be nice to you, but I'm gonna be sending all these fucking demon images or something, like some fucking stupid shit, or just even talking about sexuality triggers me very much. Like, this is not okay to talk about that, about anything sexual related, honestly, because it's almost like my own fantasy and my own private life, that it gets invaded regardless whether you care about my private life or not. It's just, you know, it's gross. It's gross stuff, and it never stops being gross because we never fully grow up. We never fully mature into the point where nothing is gross anymore. Pain is gross, and sexual relationships are often painful if you don't understand them. So that makes it, you know, like, you have to avoid it. You have to avoid sugar-coated feelings. Because those feelings are very potent, so they have to talk about it. They have to trigger you. They have to see how you react and all that shit. But that's the whole point. The moment they start throwing candy at you that doesn't quite fit your taste buds, it's not candy. It's just by definition is fucking poison. And there are good things as well. There's the bag of randomly generated material. That's what creates life. But you have to reach that tier 2 and life completely changes and pretty much shatters you. I don't think pressuring yourself is the most important part. Is a way to test yourself whether you feel alive. Because right now, when I'm making a video, again, I'm like, holy shit, this is the best. This is the supercharged material. This is what Alex Jones should be selling as a supplement, you know. Make YouTube videos is the greatest, man. YouTube videos is what Alex Jones would sell as a supplement. So here we go. I am in a low place, then I get to this high place. I feel pretty good making a video. I mean, it's so amazing. The last principle that I left out is the stack. But usually people stack your responsibilities instead of actually you have things. You have the ability to solve problems. You have tools. You have everything prepared for you, so there's no downfall in your life. You just prepare. You stacked with stories. You stacked with people caring about you. They open up. Or they tell you they will cover you for any problems that will happen in your life. They will cover your future. They will be interested. You want to be stacked with that shit and not the actual shit, which is like, holy... If you have bad parents, like, they're not going to give you nothing but responsibilities. Absolutely nothing else. It gets pretty bad down here, so you do want to escape. Everything is completely random here. And most importantly, even when people escape, they're not necessarily fully formed. You still have to be very, very careful with the baggage that they have. So the real question is, what is tier 2? Because that's the sweet spot. It's pretty obvious what this is. This is literally a stage of powerful way to survive. So when people establish here, they become quite, popular. So apparently popularity has something to do with this tier. Popularity. And I think the reason why popularity is so important is in a random generated world, if you become popular, you become a meme, you become very important for other people's development, and you kind of like the portal. You are like the portal opening person. You're not necessarily tier 2, however. You're just a portal. You will be redefined based on how many people go through and pull you in. And again, being a portal means you might even invite bad people, so you actually have to control yourself as well. Controlling popularity, basically, even though you can have it, can you really figure out how to deal with it? I don't think people understand what happens afterwards, what your responsibility becomes afterwards. So it's probably worthwhile explaining to myself in case I become popular, which now it doesn't mean jack shit, right? Because it would just mean that I'm a meme, that people have an easy time understanding who I am, and in a way, I kind of negated that. I kind of wanted the opposite of that. I kind of never wanted to pop out. There are a few insecurities, sure, but... and also, people really pick your insecurities so badly. I can't fucking stop. But, yeah, I mean, you can just throw those people overboard very easily. When you're controlling popularity, you can do a lot of things. But it's almost like an additional perk that pushes you to transcend your meme, to not be popular, to, sacrifice it for the greater good of, like, what's going to happen in tier 2, and what's really way more important. It's almost like you have a kid's playground where people... these are people between 18 and 25. These are people who just barely starting to detach from their parents. Whether you are living alone or not, like, it doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to completely detach from your parents, ever, or you're not going to detach from the systems that support your life. You're not going to do that. But you are adapting to kind of fully understand of how to be independent, fully understand how to create things in your life, because starting to create things in your life it's a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing. And if it works, then it's magic. And that's what is so crazy about it. Where not only people rely on popularity, people also rely on money as well. And there's, like, again, 4 resources that you also are trying to grasp, but it always slips through your fingers because they're not necessarily as important in tier 2. And if someone drags you up in tier 2, it's just you being robbed of everything. You're gonna get a completely new perspective of things. So again, no poison, no trashing your point of view. Your point of view is like, you live your life, dude. You go figure what your life truly is. People who don't sit on the computer screens or whatnot, they probably don't have it too bad. You know, social media can fuck your point of view. There's a lot of things that can fuck your point of view. But the biggest thing I found is the idea of war. Idea of war means that you're gonna be sacrificed pretty much. Your point of view is gonna be death. A lot of death. And basically, death is gonna knock at your door as well. And you're gonna say to yourself weird things of like, I'm defending my country or something. Just war never ever is a good point of view. Ever. You know, if you become homeless, now you're at war. Your point of view is trash. That's literally the definition of point of view. If you put yourself in a shitty position, you are at war. There's no other way around it. People don't live shitty lives in general, you know, so there's always a way out. There's always that move that you can make until you lose all the hope and you just have to kind of give up. It is that fucking simple, but it's that kind of difficult thing to accept for a lot of people. So they just turn into demons, because that's a lot easier, you know, to keep shitty point of view. Well, just, I'm a demon, you know, easy, right? Again, people have a lot of responsibilities. They feel like, I have to have a job, I have to make a family. None of those things are true. You just have to enjoy life, and you have to have a bare minimum to survive, to go to the next stage. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. Which is why I adopted "it is what it is" phrase right now. I'm like, this is gonna be haunting me next year for sure. It is what it is. And yeah, the final thing, keep your distance. Keep your distance from things that are just harmful. Because, you know, you have to keep your environment safe by any means. And keep your environment productive. Meaning that if it's clean and safe, like, you're gonna keep moving forward instead of going backwards and constantly encountering problems in your life. It's pretty obvious. It's just some people can't let go the bad things or addictions. They have addictions sometimes. It's ridiculous. I know some things feel good in the moment and they completely destroy your future. So that's kind of what you're looking for. You're keeping distance from things that are either very risky or expensive, or they're just very dangerous because they can because you're slowly adopting them, and you want to test yourself. What would happen if I just stay away from this thing that I'm using constantly for a few days? I know I can't get rid of a computer in my life, and right now in the 2020 situation, it gotten worse. I'm homestuck for sure, but it doesn't mean that I'm not living a full life. Computer is a way for me to inspect what's going on. There's nothing else I can do to stop myself, because I don't have friends yet, and I don't think the friends that I had can keep up with me anymore. I think that's game over already. They had to just, accept the reality of, like, I'm smart, so you might want to sit down and listen to me and be a part of my life, because I will always want to tell stories and educate myself and add add your alchemical ingredients into my mix and spit out some problem solvers for those people as well. But because they haven't valued me, I'm like, this place sucks, doesn't it? Like, this is fucking weird. If you're not entangled into YouTube business, I don't think you are making any progress in life unless you just, you know, you want to be stuck now in tier 1. I don't even know how can else you go forward, because that's the biggest trend of all time. It's just make videos. Like, what else are you gonna be doing? Seriously, it's an important question to ask. So it's very fascinating that I've lost all my friends. That's kind of fucking weird. Obviously, no one really cares forever, and nobody knows how to establish things. You have to expect that a lot of things that you have in tier 1, they're gonna slip away. You're just not gonna have them when you go next thing. When you're gonna go do next thing. Even, no, I can't say that, because things are rotating, right? And not necessarily they're gonna slip away, but the slip away part potentially is because something completely new will be introduced when these trends rotate, and that's what really hits very hard. A completely new thing. So you can think of, like, in 2019, nobody knew what coronavirus would look like, and now we know, and it reshaped the world in such a huge way. But that's how trends work. The new trend is more destructive than the old one leaving, because we always kind of slowly dive into the emptiness inside. We always need the new thing, but when the new thing comes, it really breaks a lot of people, and that's often how things work. Your self-esteem is always immediately challenged, no matter who you are. No matter where you are in life, you're gonna find it. You're gonna find this trend wreaking havoc. I'm not saying coronavirus is a trend, it's just more of a poking mechanism to see what happens. It's a very good example. Now, tier 2, the mysterious thing that I immediately say, like, you have to put yourself a lot of pressure, a lot of weight. But the most important part is don't break yourself, okay? Don't push yourself too hard. You have to know that 50-50 split where you split some to the pressure and some to the feeling good about yourself. Usually when you're filled with good feelings for too long, it makes you feel empty again. And emptiness will bring you down very quickly. Because there's something that has to define tier 2, right? There's some very, very refined definition. You have to be obviously interested in life, interested in being honorable, being honest, being able to just be a person that allows things to be created. But again, a lot of people who are creators, I specifically define them here. They're stuck here. They're creating. They spend a lot of time creating something. Just like a high production means you're going to be editing your videos for like hours. And your video is going to be finished. And when you want to make a new video, you will have to work for hours again. You acquired some skills, and that skill shit, the acquiring of skill, that should feel very, very important. And when you start chasing that instead of, oh, I'm gonna make the next video, that's when you transcend. So it's all about the skill. It's a way to build something that actually changes your life immediately and forever. So you acquire as many skills as possible. Do not waste your time just working on something, creating something. It's pointless. It's much more important. This is why I didn't just stuck with programming. That would be stupid for me. And it felt really bad until I picked up anything else. Literally anything else. But my life almost like got shattered. And I'm like, okay, there's so many more skills that I can acquire that still involves me being stuck at home and not really worrying too much. And something that I've already been doing as well. And what I picked up is psychology, but the way psychology entangles itself with programmer is another level, right? And also I picked up Discord, because now I can talk to myself. I've been writing a lot before Discord, so I felt immediately this freedom to just write whatever I want and have as many channels as I want, and as much outlet, as much space as I need to, like whatever. It really opened me up for a new phase, because now it feels like I adopted something that makes my skill a little bit more important. So there's room for growth. So adopting tools is pretty important too. But there's always way more question marks of what this is. This is just the beginning, because like the biggest question mark, obviously, what other skills are out there? Should I really try and start making music? Is that going to be a good idea for me personally, for my personal improvement? And so far the answers was yes. Like it's a better self-expression. You can actually put somewhat a lot of work into it and not feel like you have lost a lot of time, because music is repeatable, is very easy to share. It's almost like a structure of a bread, something that turns into a factory to make bread, but the bread itself never really changes the way that you want to see it. You're going to see it, you just build a factory around it. So so you can actually make music as powerful as bread itself, and then people will just learn how to replicate it and adopt it, and that's pretty cool. Now, what are the most successful people who become the portals of the next tier? That's also something I have to... Literally the floating particles of the tier 2. The ones who definitely become, again, popular, they become very visible. Now finding those people is not going to be that easy, because despite their popularity, you don't know them. And as I've said, this generation is potentially gaming, because you have to question yourself, where is the most amount of skill found, and most importantly, the easiest way to look at it, what generation it is, what has been popular 15 years ago. So because we had consoles, because we had cartridges, because we have a lot of game developers jumping on board on this thing, and gaming or making games was not it was a completely new thing. Just like making videos is a completely new thing. 15 years ago, it was not a thing. Now it is. So it's just, you have to understand, those old generations becoming an incredibly difficult thing to actually get into. You can always do gaming, but can you really make games? Oh no. That shit is insanely difficult. Insanely difficult. And again, people who float up, they normally are game developers or game owners, but you will never get to know these people. You will just never know. So despite them being popular, they're not popular. They're very hidden and they're very wealthy too. They can probably do a lot of things without worrying too much. They can establish themselves quite a bit. And that's the fascinating thing. Like, gaming is an older generation now. At some point, YouTube will have the same privilege, but that's the one. But the most important part is not making games, is gamifying your life, is making your life more entertaining. So making game for yourself. Now that's a completely next level. You know, that's what's gonna transcend your next tier entirely. Because now you're making your life even more magical. And kind of adopting magic entirely. Of like, now you crafted your point of view. You crafted what you care about. And you also crafted a system that really helps you live. That's the whole point of making a game. You have tasks. You have experience. You have skills. You are expanding your consciousness quite very, very visibly, because everything matters now. Everything you're dealing with life will matter. So not only these things are split, you also have an entire observation or a simulation put on this loop. So it gets you get better and better at it. And that's the main skill of pressuring yourself and taking care of it, the things that, whatever. You get the idea. You live life. But you live life now somewhat twisted. And the most important part, you're way more attractive than ever before. Because now you're not empty anymore. And you're not empty on your own terms too. You have a life. But one thing that has to happen, I think, you also have to bump into people and contest their emptiness. Just prove that you're not empty, basically. That's the one, man. That's the one that's scary, too. The skill of bumping into other people. Fucking deadly. You know, this shit happens. You can't avoid it. At some point, someone is going to bump into you, or someone is going to ask questions, or get closer to you, because you're just mysterious dude who had everything figured out. But here it is, like the weird kind of life. When life throws random shit at you, and you're just discovering yourself, that's tier 1. We outlived that. Or at least I did. I outlived that. Now, we're gonna get even higher than that. Meaning it's gonna get exponentially more difficult. And I still have to balance on top of this ocean of insanity. Because people will come in and will bump in from below as well. Not just from like, oh, I'm in the same tier as you are. But potentially, this matters more than this. You don't give a fuck about recruits. You don't give a fuck about newbies. It's never the case. You take care of them. You know, like, you need something. Are you sure? And that's it. That's where the conversation ends. But these people are more dangerous. Because they have their own point of view. They have established themselves. They have tricked their system, basically, to negate these things. Because you're still kind of cheating, somewhat. Cheating yourself. Running away from responsibilities. From people people's emotions. You're kind of leaving them behind. You're still somewhat young, up to 32 years. You can still act like a celebrity of some kind who doesn't get touched. Because if you have enough money, like, you can, again, cheat the system of how you build your point of view and all this other stuff. You can cheat it. It's not that difficult. So the tier 3 happens, and it has to be even more exponentially powerful. Now, I don't think this group of people is very well defined, but you know, these are celebrities, these are very smart people, and they hold their privacy together, most importantly. They can leak out stuff that consumers like, and you can still figure out what that is. It's like high-end stuff. So yeah, I think celebrities and game developers automatically get on this platform. They have to be high-end as well. A lot of people try and fail, just like a lot of people try and fail to be YouTubers, and you know that's a little bit lower than just being a celebrity. And but it still takes. It took people to go through something to create a celebrity. Like, it takes way more people than just, I'll take this person and it will turn into a celebrity naturally. It doesn't happen that way. That person has to be special. And now it's very rare. Okay? This pool of people is incredibly rare. So you can imagine there are 2 more tiers? What am I talking about? That's impossible, right? It's almost like alien tiers. But here it is, and I'm sitting in the bottom here, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Now every year I have to better myself against this new challenge that I never really thought was the case. Again, until like, oh yeah, I'm making my engine. That's a very important skill. But there's so many more important things in my life that I have to improve by any means necessary now. And I'm kind of also lucky to survive everything that life throws at me. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed. So I don't necessarily have any answers whatsoever, but I at least know where I am and what I have to do, so that's cool. We have defeated our number 2. Okay, someone's... oh no. No worries. Man, I really feel the pain every time, like... but now more than ever before, like, oh, I released YouTube Rewind, and I want it to perform without my input. That is ridiculous misconception I'm holding inside me. Yes, it collects views. It's almost like a homeless potty left out in the open. You're hoping that no one is gonna steal it. You're hoping that it's gonna stay outdoors and everything's gonna be okay. That's a lot of hopes, man. What the hell? Also, I need as big of cards as I can with this. Yeah, you just make videos. You just live like a normal human being would in the future, because right now everything is messed up, so you have to always... I mean, in order to be an actual idol, you have to live in the future. You have to live as very cool things are normal to you. So it's like... it sounds completely normal, right? That means that you just make videos just for fun. You live just for fun. Otherwise you die. If it's not fun, you die. Wow. What a big fucking difference. No one should be forced to live anyways. And it's so difficult to die anyways as well. I'm it's not even a meme. It's a very serious thing that it's very hard to accomplish because you haven't figured out life yet, but you figure out the safeguards, right, of how not to die most of the time. You didn't just born into life and just, oh, let's figure out ways to die, 100 ways to die. I'm sure one of them is gonna stick on me. That's not what people live for, I don't know. They seem pretty logical. Let's grab a healing totem, boys. Nope. But I need as much card draw as possible. This is a very special deck. The duels is a success. Everything that people said was bad was not bad. Oh wait, it was just Zeddy. Zeddy was like getting viral. Probably his fucking moment of fame. Too bad I discovered him earlier and I actually understand what's going on. But if you just first look at it, it's like, wow, it's very influential. To see a new person spit out bullshit. Let's see, I need more cards, buddy. More! Even more. Maybe let's go even more. How about that? So we do this, and we fucking draw everything, dude. Let's go. There's no holding back, man. Why should I hold back? I can kill off these two if I don't like my cards. Oh wait, I'm overloaded like crazy. Yeah. Duels is a wonderful success, I'm not gonna lie. Battleground sucks, Standard sucks, unless you play pure Paladin and you have a decent win rate. But Standard is so fucking out of control, there's so many broken cards now, that it's painful. There is no balance, so random things happen and you read randomness. If you're good at reading randomness, that's cool. At least you personally know when you won or lost. That's how fucking cryptic it is. You don't quite know unless you're good at knowing. Which is pretty fascinating. He's running out of cards very fast. Too shame, man. Oh no, I think I'm in danger actually of overdrawing. No, if this hits that, then yeah, that's fine then. I am overdrawing, and I did overdraw like a fucking legendary card. Could have saved my ass. This is fine. Probably it's okay to just do normal. Way around here. Don't overdraw me. Thank you. Nobody likes that. Wow, look at me. No way I can lose now. This hero power is like super powerful, but it doesn't mean you're gonna have a late game with that. It just means you win a few games and become a feeding frenzy for me. So cute. I like that. Yeah. I like it. I think we can get rid of this now and go full force. I kind of want to get rid of one of those two. I don't know, man. There's actually no way, I don't think. Oh, wait, maybe this is gonna get copied. I'm pretty sure this is gonna get copied. Okay, that's a weird one. I don't know. Someone needs to explain me that. Well, no, they don't. I'm kind of like thinking, like, what is the most influential move to make? Isn't it like it? If you just put out videos, it's not necessarily influential. It doesn't even scratch the surface, and if everyone is doing it, like it becomes a dumpster ground of videos. The really influential thing is making relationships. In that case, so that cannot be understated. That people can always make a mistake of like what they should actually be doing in life. This is gonna be a 4. It's a little bit too early for that. Oh, my most wonderful 2 mana 7/7. That's the one, guys. God damn it. It turned into a 1/1. I can't even play anything. I guess he wins. I will lose now. What the fuck is this? Wow, now that's fucked up. Someone's getting a lucky win out of me. That can happen, and it pisses me off so much, man. It's never skill, it's always luck that defeats me. Their skill is absolute garbage. Right now... yeah, I'm stuck. I'll just give him the win, right? I fought so hard for this. Like, it's still the biggest issue in Hearthstone. It's like, we're gonna talk about that other big issue in Hearthstone. You should just do one. Pick one. I don't understand people. So he can kill whatever he wants with this fucking gun. It's insane. See, it's so OP. 100% needs a nerf, but maybe we can do some legendaries up in there. If that's possible, maybe even splitting axe is gonna work. Holy shit. But the first thing to do, yeah, I'll probably have to wait for turn 10 even. That's how crazy it is. Huh? Do I want this? Is this fine? I want to block him more than myself. So he doesn't summon minions and then I just wait for turn 10. He's immune. I don't understand this at all. He gives immunity too. Like, what the fuck? Still need to wait for turn 10. Can't overload. I can't. Actually, I don't have to wait for turn 10. Well, I do. Well, let's do this. Let's do it like this. So, let's see if this even copies anything. Okay. So that was good. he will just clear the board and nothing happens ever. If he does not clear the board, then I might actually have a chance. It's the first time in my life, guys. He actually attacks. He's that fucking stupid. Amazing. There's not much I can do. I kind of want to do this, because I have to open up this guy. And open up my dudes too. Let's go. What legendaries do we have in the box? Oh wait. Okay, that's... maybe it wasn't worth to attack anyways. Yeah, I'm not gonna record this fucking garbage anyways. I'm just saying, duels is pretty good. There's so much more happening here. So much more to take advantage of, or get lost by, or just... I completely lost the game just now. Now for sure. But hey, you never know how much I lost the game. It will be very interesting to find out by how much that I lost this game. Because, like, I can't play most of these cards to squeeze value out of them. This is so lame. Now would be nice to have legendaries. But everything got clogged up. My leftmost card gets the value. Fuck your stupid freeze, like, he broke the game so many times now, holy shit. Freeze just breaks me completely. That's the game, guys. Run out of options and you play with an empty hand and the game plays itself again. That's how Hearthstone works. There's so many worse things to complain about. So many worse things. And some progression system. If the gameplay sucks, then I don't care how I get rewarded. Everything just sucks. Even unlocking I have to unlock 10 rares to unlock hero powers and continue duels, which is actually okay. I could have spent the golden legendary to craft a bunch of rares, but right now I kind of want those cards. I can show you guys what I want to get. And it's a bunch of those new hero powers. This stuff. So I need 4 more epics, not rares. Like, really expensive shit. Pretty much this... oh. And there's glitches, too. I just try to go back. Well... so much worse than the actual complaint. But that makes Hearthstone even more unstable and even more crazy. And another opportunity for people to leave. If they really want to. It's so weird. I don't know, I'll just do my thing. Figure out more insights, because I really, really need to make every year worthwhile and better than the last one. Right now I'm just sitting in the cold, and it's a slow process recovering from everything. Alright, let's stop wasting time and actually jump into the engine. Because there's two changes that I have to make this engine stand out. I'm gonna quickly tell what they are. Every single block you see here can be a chunk. An entire Minecraft chunk. So the distant ones are a little bit too small to be rendered. Yeah, normally you get the closest blocks to your camera, and you can only get like 15 of them. Also, the way this is rendered, it's kind of a little bit wrong, and it drops FPS because of that. I can easily fix it. I think I mentioned a few times, if the block is like this, it triggers camera screen to split it apart a few times. But the entire camera is searching for the object. All I have to do is pick a point and rotate a little bit, and then I have all the parts that render the object using this spiral technique. Spiral is probably the best. It's hard to tell what is honestly the best, but it's probably the best. I actually did put every object into a sphere, but it wasn't good enough. So I'll just do the spiral as well, because now that everything is in a sphere, like, it makes the most sense. You just pick up the position and you check as long as you're actually detecting the object. Now it shouldn't just naturally, there's so many conditions in which the object exists or not. It potentially is good to spiral the entire object, but no. Normally you go through the positions. It's just sometimes those positions can flicker, so you can hit a dead end, like here, I think would be a dead end, but there's still a little bit of object left. Potentially I should even be able to detect that too, or even go beyond that, of branching paths or something. The question of how to detect an object on the screen fully is a big one, because these chunks can be very, very big on the screen if you zoom in. If you're very close to them, you want to render the entire thing. It's quite important. Now, the fun part, right, like, as you can tell already, the fun part is that these can be chunks, these can be objects, this can be literally anything you like at this point. So I don't have to worry about that. And that can be millions. Millions, probably at any distance imaginable. I mean, I literally have no idea how powerful my engine is anymore. I have no idea. I just have to try it to put in a neat package, basically. In a neat package that everyone understands it's Minecraft, right? I'm still like, I'm so bored and tired. Potentially because of how I spent my entire year. Maybe that's gonna change, and maybe I'm gonna start working more. So that's the idea of next year, maybe. Since I'm so close to winning, it's time to stop losing. basically. It's time to grab that bag and bail. And I know it will upset a lot of people, but I haven't found any better ways to treat myself, honestly. Bag and bail, guys. There's no reason to remain popular. There's no reason to treat people with updates and all that shit. They're gonna take my shit and leave too. It's gonna be a mutual respect that in that sense. So you become viral, you do your speeches, and then you're like, okay, bye guys, don't worry about me. The moment you're satisfied, obviously, then you leave. If you're not satisfied, you just drag on like a dead body across the internet. For the assholes who just didn't quite fulfill your dreams. Anyways, because you kind of fulfilled the dream in general, the dream of how things work. Alright, so I'll try this. Let's see how it works. Yeah, I totally forgot. I just have to get this point, and every block in between. That's just the stupidest solution, but it works every time. Yes, it does seem that I fixed FPS. It's a little bit more terrible in terms of rendering, because I have to now reduce the size of how many blocks I pick up, how many items I pick up. This is now the main part of what I need to optimize. One thing that I'm not doing right now properly is sending pixels to the screen. Instead, as many I have rays, I'm sending all of them, all of the rays. I shouldn't necessarily be doing that, but it is a tough operation. Back when I was doing my previous render with ray tracing, I would just send a certain amount of rays, not a lot, and those rays would pick up objects quite well anyways. There's a potential for me to actually even no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There's probably a way to optimize this to see if something is on a part of the screen and then just render that tiny part. But what's important to understand is that the blocks can block themselves off. I guess the crazy part is I can only go through 15 blocks until it starts lagging. That means I should just throw those 15 blocks on the screen instead of throwing rays into those blocks, and that would just make it. So I'll just probably change this entire code to just throw things on the screen and no ray tracing at all, which is fucking weird. Now, yes, again, I using this method, FPS goes up quite a bit. That's great. The size does not matter. It does lower the FPS maybe a little bit, but you can see I have put these blocks in a very weird size. 20 times longer, basically. Yeah, it does matter, because it's a lot harder to render all of them properly, and it's also very difficult to see the difference of what's actually going on. But I think my engine is handling it pretty well, considering their weird shape. If I understand correctly, this is a polygon, and you can extrude a polygon as much as you want. And even apply different textures if it hits the extrusion instead of the actual polygon, or it hits the back. So we can pretty much have a block and have it any size as well. It just would work as an extrusion instead of 6 polygons stitched together. And it's a lot easier that way to have a structure like that. Let's see if I can figure it out, because it doesn't seem that impossible, especially when you would want it 3D thing. Only thing you need to do is just extrude the polygons. That's it. And that's it. You got a 3D thing. So what if I wanted this kind of structure, right? And I want it to spin around, or like a coin. It would be a lot easier if I learned extrusion. Let's figure it out. One weird insight. Yeah, I'm not sure how to extrude, by the way. I mean, the ray travels, right? When I only need to hit a polygon, there's a very simple calculation already in place. But now that there is one polygon, and one polygon alone, I can check that. But how do you check whether a polygon still exists here, where I'm hitting right now? Because the same polygon pretty much extrudes like a plate many times over. And I have to check almost every single extrusion point. That's kind of, you can sort of see what's going on, but at the same time it's infinite amount of plates too. So it's so weird. I don't know how I'll solve this. One interesting thing, because a dude, I don't know, someone just triggered me into a conversation, and they're like, oh, vaccines is gonna save everything. Well, you know what vaccine is equivalent to, pretty much? Like a gun to your head, okay? Gun to your head, death solves everything. It's amazing. It's a wonderful solution, and in a way, like, maybe it is at this point. Maybe this reality is so retarded that we live in right now that a gunshot in your head is like, it's a solution to a lot of things. And the only thing I have to do is just sit here and just wait. It's like, wow. But technically, it's literally the same thing. It's a war against your body. Zap, and you're out, pretty much. That's potentially how medicine can work as well. It just turns off a part of your body. It makes you numb in some ways. And in a way, medicine does have a flavor of doing that sort of solution. Very much so. Right? It just, whatever you're hyperactive, whatever part of your body is hyperactive, it's probably going to cause a lot of problems. So medicine just kind of tunes that out of the way. And potentially can even, make you sleep. But sleeping is not an activation of something. It's not a repair of something. It's just making you numb to the point where you want to sleep more. It's just, I don't think medicine actually works differently than just shooting a bullet in your head. So, like, it's a weird thing. Like, if you eat food, that's a completely different thing. If you take a shot, then you take a shot. That's two completely separate things. And nature does not have taking a shot. Nature has cut yourself apart and then you will stop having a fucking need to move that thing or to use it anymore. It's like, well, I'm in pain now, so might as well not fucking feel my legs and arms. It's wonderful, wonderful solution, but you know, as much as people are pushing it right now, and as many misconceptions as we have about reality, it doesn't sound very nice, actually. I think I got it. There's a plane. The plane is a little bit bigger than normally. This is the extrusion. But that's not the important part. If the ray goes through like this, it hits the plane first. But then if it hits the back of the block eventually, essentially the ray travels like this, right? But in reality, it travels like this. It travels in 2D space. Because everything is extruded, everything is still 2D space. So the ray simply now, after hitting this point, it travels like this. It basically negates all the Z stuff. And everything that is X and Y that turn into a vector essentially is this vector right there traveling. Now, it's still kind of difficult to figure out the entire, like, there's the distance, there's the hit point, potentially, and you need to figure out that, divide that distance by something, right? Something like, I'll figure it out, basically, but this is how you do the extrusion. Super simple. Oh, man. By the way, that thing is not gonna work very well. Because there's so many conditions where you kind of fly off as parallel with the ray. Most of the time you're gonna hit and read the ray one way or the other. At some point it hits the point, and then you kind of read it through. The rays cannot go parallel with this thing, but they can hit very far away. Then you check the distance to the nearest what? You know, like then there's the question, like, what? What am I supposed to hit? So there's too many questions when it comes to extrusion. I can't quite figure it out yet. There's something else I'm starting to figure. And that's the homing, basically, the settling down situation. But it's even probably more complicated, right? For me, it's a very simple thing. Stereo 1 versus Stereo 2. Territory. Right there. Fucking weird, right? And again, while this is super random, these are now sections. Completely different, like fan bases or something. They're trying to almost like create a satisfying system, but you first have to establish needs in order to section things out. Kind of a similar way, just like how these things are sections, but it's different. Now everything apparently has order, and almost like these are rocks too. Ugh. Imagine being able to observe reality. Ugh. No, fuck this. I hate that part. But this is rocky formation. It's supposed to be very solid as well. Meaning that people don't just walk from one thing to the other that easily. But you might want to do that, actually. You might want to be that charge. But why? When you can create your own thing, right? You can own your own home, pretty much. Or a business. It now depends, like, the size of it. Does it depend? No. How much credit you take? Does it depend from that? How much happiness you have in general? What matters? Well, the same little shit fucking matters. Like, there are 4 sections here. There's still 4 sections here. And it asks you very simple things. But we now know the formation. It's no longer random. You can sort of start to see patterns now, but those patterns are overwhelming. That's the part that really bothers. Because you can always hop into this little thingy and master it, but if you master one of those things, it will take you forever. Everything else shuts down. That's the challenge. You can't master one thing. Or can you? Or should you? What should you do? One versus the world. That is the question right now. Also, I lost a bunch of points, I think. I don't know. Maybe it's just super recent, so it's not a big deal. Every time I click play, because you can actually press play right now, it will go back and erase a bunch of points. Ugh. Unstable system. Yeah, if your saving and loading is unstable, it's a very shitty system. And I hate saving. I hate everything. Trying to discover the way things supposed to work is such a tiring thing. Like, holy shit. How do people do it without screaming out of pain? That's impossible. They must have punched themselves in the face for a long enough time to forget about expressing themselves. I don't know, man. Life is a shitty journey. And I should have already an answer to this. You know? One versus the world. Let's figure it out. It's the last thing I'm gonna figure out anyways. Should you master something or learn everything? That's the question. It's a very simple question, isn't it? Well, it's not an easy question, because usually, like, oh, both of them are answers. How the fuck do you answer with both? No, it's fairly easy. Again, it's the home that you don't master the home. You mastering the world while you sit at home. You master everything in the world, because apparently every little thing fucking matters. Even the thing that didn't bother me before, which is like women shopping. Now it bothers me. Now I'm like, how the fuck businesses establish themselves to give the products to the right people, and how the fuck do you find those products? And probably women have been spending countless amount of time trying to figure that out. And if you just ignore it, and you master that little shit piece of garbage in your life, you're gonna be a piece of garbage in the end. So that is what I'm trying to escape by any means right now. This is the answer. You need a vibe system, pretty much, because you're going places, you're exploring everything, and everything matters, every little thing, which is why my mind is exploding, because that is the request of my next journey. Now I have to care about everything I can possibly care about. There is usually a boundary set, just like I've said. Like, there's the gaming boundary. But in the way, you kind of know it's also translating itself, and it's turning itself into the internet, or just the net, or just the web of web of media. Yes, but it's still fucking games, isn't it? I can't translate it. It's always the same thing, because I see it too many times now. Like, every single ad is like the flashiest game that you can download to your stupid phone. Okay, please leave me alone at this point. This is how I feel about those ads. Please leave me alone. But they're desperately open my mind to, like, somehow it's easy to make games? Are you kidding me? You're fucking insane. Easy to make games. I don't even know what kind of game I would make. I honestly don't know. You would think, like, oh, I just do Creeper's Forge, obviously. Yeah, that sounds pretty obvious. I'm not gonna lie. Oh wait, but there's so many more other games to do. In a way, the whole point is to not make a game. That's the weirdest thing, isn't it? Because everyone is doing it, but the question is that the right answer to even create anything? This is the section for creators. The tier 1 was a section for creators. I was doing creative stuff, and I did it, if I ramped up my production level, and if I just sucked in every single person in my life, I would probably bubble up all the way up here and just become something, but I would be doomed. I would reach tier 2 and I would be doomed to just solidify and master everything that I know about this thing. But it's still, because my needs would be so great, potentially it would start fucking ramping up its own exploration. Those lines of trying to identify what else I could grab for my needs. But then if the needs are so important, why not just maximize that and then see what happens? I always think it's better to just let nature handle things than you try to handle things. Yes, there's free will in your life, but you just have to willingly give away at least 50% of your free will. And most of the time, you actually have to willingly give away 100% of your free will at first steps of the way, meaning that you have to figure out the nature of things, and then the nature has to take over. You want it or not, you just have. This is how you declare consent. It's it's almost like declare graduation process as well. You let the nature take over. I think I've done it literally while I was 24, I I tested myself at least whether nature can take me over, but like, what does that even mean? So I'll have to potentially repeat this process to some degree. There's a lot, man. Go figure. I mean, if you're not trying to figure out your life as hardcore as I am trying to figure it out, you don't have one. You never really felt uncomfortable. You're just sinking ship. It's totally comfortable to be a sinking ship. If you were destined to be a sinking ship, at some point in your mind was planted the idea of like a sinking ship, and like, oh, that was the conclusion of my entire journey. Just to become this little blobby. Because people bubble up to this level, and a new journey begins. A new magical journey. I define it as magic because every time you enter a new bubble, everything is so well defined that you feel like you're in a new environment with new rules, and it overwhelms you immediately, and it might even attempt to overwhelm you to the max. Just like you can try and master a TikTok bubble. It's its own little thing. But there are real principles of how you poke bubbles like that as well. You have to follow those. Like, there's a lot more to master than just enter a bubble and master the bubble. Just like in Hearthstone, I'm a casual player, but I see people try harding so fucking much, and it pains me. And they're so fucking rich too. They have invested so much money into the game, and they play so often too. Like, I don't know, man. Keep me away from Hearthstone if it sucked people's lives. But that doesn't mean they mastered Hearthstone either. They might not even fucking reached tier 2. Reaching tier 2 is still fucking a ridiculous challenge. Where your dream is to master something, to know everything about something, and be a big deal. Not always it's possible to become a big deal. But yeah, it also requires tools too. So just because I say no to mastering one thing, yeah, but I still say, like, you still need those principles, right? Yeah, I'm confused. 1 second. It is important to know that you get addicted because it's easier that way. The real thing that happens is potentially social pressure. People don't want you to leave. That's the weird one. Again, tier 1 people probably are gonna let you go, but these people don't want to let you go. These people want to keep you on a loop, keep you subscribed. But like, for sure, they have some insurance behind that. A subscription, you just click a button and you can unclick it at any point. This is not it. This is why YouTube still haven't reached this level. You can sense there are things in reality that are established as not so fucking easy to just click and unclick a button. That we're just playing a fucking game. When you enter and you're trying to leave, not gonna be that easy, Because then people detect, oh, you have a home. how big is your home? What can I steal from your home? And all that shit is just, whoa, dude. You know, you trigger a fucking monster potentially if you knock on the wrong door in the wrong way. So, raising your awareness and having something this valuable and building a home, and we know again it's both at the same time. You have to hold on to something, but investigate the world. Learn everything while you hold something, not mastering something. And not necessarily learn. Then if it's not master, then it's not learn. So what is it? Final pointer. Hold something. It's almost like a trigger. Everything. Because then you learn the consequence of that thing. You don't have to learn that thing, you just learn the consequence of pressing that button. You know, because now let's say tier 1 is just one button that matters to everyone. But tier 2 is one like, oh, there's actually different kinds of buttons that you can press. And it will actually, you have to find your button, you have to find the button that they would like most people to press. All that, there's different shit happening completely. You could say that I am inventing the button, basically. My own button, first of all. What button do you want? Your own button you want me to press? Even that's not obvious, because some people are humble, you know, and they would be like, well, I have this skill, and that's the true thing. This is why I want to build cards, is I can actually indirectly press people's buttons. And let's call the first card Phoenix. Because why not fucking say as it is? This is how as a child, I used to type Phoenix, okay? Obviously. My language, Lithuanian, doesn't dare to misspell words. Does not dare. And I respect that. And there's different ways to press this button, but it all has to align with the way I feel and all that shit. This is gonna be a very weird thing to explore. The true perspective of tier 2. Not quite real perspective, but the true principle-based perspective that I can map out. And accidentally, you know. Now I need auto-draw a lot. But it's accidental almost. It's almost like nature playing its role rather than I'm looking for a program that has this and that and this for those, right? That's what you will never find. That's the worst thing about the world. Or at least in tier 2. You will never find what you're looking for. That's the worst part. What are you looking for? You think you're gonna find... You think I'm gonna be like, oh, I want a racing game. That's pretty obscure of what I'm looking for, but if I really know what I want, I'm not looking for a racing game, obviously. Because anything can be a racing game. It could be a 2D racing game, which could be a 3D. I want immersive racing game. How immersive? You are never going to find what you're looking for. You can only create that, what you're looking for. What you have to look for is something very awkward in that sense. Because you're not even going to find like a good game, potentially. Or it's not going to be a racing game. Or it's just going to feel weird. So you just have to lose yourself somehow. It's such a fucking weird principle now, or life to live. Because I'm observing backwards, I'm like, well, I had all these experiences, I jumped in and out, and I forgotten that, and I trashed that. What if it starts haunting me again? What if it defined everything that I have looked for, ever? You know, when I have a space shooter, I have played a space shooter, but other people play different space shooters. They have different understanding of that thing. And it's just so there's so many questions all of a sudden. Too bad I don't know where to start. But I do have a starting, at least understanding of what am I dealing with. That's good. Let's go to the next episode. This will take a while.